Welcome back. Sorry about the quality in this video. The audio should be fine, but sorry, the video is a bit dead. It's just late, so I kind of put it off, but I was on the move today. Had a good day. Time to read the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 3, Karma Yoga. This is page 163 to 215. It's like 40 pages. Are you ready for that? You ready for that, boom man? Of course you are. No, you're ready for that. Ask Krishna to give you strength. Arjuna said, and I'm in Hackney, so the traffic. Arjuna said, O Janadana, O Kesava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work? My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions, therefore please tell me decisively which will be the most beneficial for me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two cases of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to their qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. One who restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control his active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creators sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, Be thou happy by this yanjana, which means sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. The demigods, being pleased by sacrifice, will also please you, and thus, by cooperation between man and demigod, prosperity will reign for all. In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods being satisfied by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others, who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment, verily eat only sin. All living bodies subsist of food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yan sacrifice, and yana is born of prescribed duties. Okay, that's how you live. That's how you live your life. To do your prescribed duties from your spiritual masters. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, from him there is no duty. I do not know what that word is. Look it up. A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duty, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Kings such as Janaka attain perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. O son of Prithra, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Pathla, certainly all men would follow my path. It's true. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. Ruination! It would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and would thereby destroy the peace of all civilization. Let me read that again for you. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. It would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all creation and civilization. It doesn't say that, it just says all living beings, that's what it says. Right, text 25. As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may simply act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path, so as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruited results of prescribed duties. A learned person should not introduce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. The spirit of soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty armed, does not engage himself in the sense and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work and devotion and work for future results. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage himself in material activities and become attached, but the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight! Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunction and who follows his teaching faithfully without envy become free from bondage of foolish actions. But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavours for perfection. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? These are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses of their objects. One should not come under their control of such attachment and aversion, because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faulty, than another's prescribed duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duties is better than engaging in others' duties, for to follow another path is dangerous. True. But Arjuna said, O descendant of Vishnu, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, if engaged by force? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion, and later transformed into wrath, and which is all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the worms, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of lust. Thus the wise living entity, pure consciousness, becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust, though them lust covered the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him.